Topic number one: Hideo Kojima's conspiracy theory ends. This is from Kotaku. A week ago, most people didn't know that Abandon was an upcoming indie horror game for the PS5, nor that it was being made by Dutch developer Bluebox Game Studios. Now, both are at the heart of the gaming's latest conspiracy theory that Metal Gear Solid designer Hideo Kojima is secretly involved, and Abandon is actually a Silent Hill game. There's just one hitch. Blue Box Games keep saying that it's not true. So, have you been keeping up with this whole conspiracy theory and this whole thing about the Abandon game?
It's kind of crazy. There's one thing that like Kojima posted something that he's reading a book and it's called the Silent Something, and he posted it and they're like, this is a clue. That's the thing that's crazy about Kojima. Like his persona, I wouldn't even want to say his lore, is that you think he's always trying to do something, trying to trick you and giving you subtle clues of what he's working on next.
Always one step ahead of everybody, yeah.
Exactly.
But so let's take a step back from Hideo Kojima for a second. Let's go into this Blue Box Game Studio, right? No one's really heard of them. This is their first game. And I know they announced Abandon, their new game that they're coming out with.
Yeah.
On the PlayStation blog, which was weird to begin with, right? But this whole thing kind of started off because the way the trailer showed, and I think we showed it in one of our episodes, but the way it came out, the way the trailer was shown, it's very Hideo Kojima. And people started getting all this traction of oh, this could be, Silent Hill from Hideo Kojima. And they came out and flat out said, no, it's not, which is fine, right? And actually it was pretty sad because they were like, hey guys, this is just our game. We're not trying to do anything about, Hideo Kojima has nothing to do with this game, this project. This is our indie game. We're just trying to make a cool, scary game. And I felt bad because now everyone's just focused on this being Hideo Kojima's game, right? But what made this kind of annoying, in my opinion, is the fact that they came out with a tweet saying our Abandoned game is actually going to be called, and to kind of give you a hint of it, and it starts with an S and ends with an L. All right, so you're kind of really leaning towards this whole lore now at this point, and so now I don't feel bad. Now I'm all right, you guys are trying to just jump on the hype train, basically.
Exactly.
So it's just weird. This is such a weird thing, and this has only happened. This whole conspiracy theory thing has happened with Hideo Kojima. The last one was Metal Gear Solid 5, right? When he had Moby Dick's Studios pretending to be an actual studio making a game, and it ended up being Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain. So it's just weird. This is a weird conspiracy theory. What do you think about it?
Again, this usually only happens with Kojima. Not a lot of developers do this, right? Where people were not even, what's his name? Sakurai sure. Is so good at keeping things, under wrap, whereas Kojima's the opposite. That's the thing about him. You will never ever, like you said, it's chess. You'll never see it coming. Even if it is Silent Hill, I guarantee you, just because people think they figured it out, it's not Silent Hills.
Right.
Or Silent Hill.
So that was my next question. You don't think this is Silent Hills? You don't think this is actually Hideo Kojima and his creative plan to kind of showcase this game at some point?
No, because I think he's more clever than that.
And also because I think he's done this already, right? Again, we go back to Metal Gear Solid. I don't think he's going to play this game twice, right? So no, he's kind of played this game with us already with Metal Gear Solid 5. And I don't think he's going to come and do this kind of same lore again with a different studio pretending to be somebody else that it's not. And I just think it's a bunch of... I mean, it's very convincing, to be honest, because there's a lot of information. If you really dig down into this rabbit hole of the conspiracy theory, it's very convincing as to okay, this seems like something Hideo Kojima would do. But I don't think there's anything to look at this point. I think this is just an indie studio trying to make a game, and they... initially were hey guys, this is not anything to do with Hideo Kojima, but they see how much traction it was getting, and they're all right, let's kind of jump into this hype train, just kind of get a lot of eyes on our game, even though they're going to piss people off, which they did piss people off. And now they're probably going to piss a lot more people off when the game is actually announced and actually revealed, and it's not Silent Hill. So
Exactly. But the worst part, man, about this is that if we're wrong, if it's not a conspiracy theory and it is Silent Hill, that's great for us. We get Silent Hill.
Yeah.
So
and Hideo Kojima is a genius. So
yeah,
there you go. Yeah. So Kojima hinting at Metal Gear remake with Death Stranding director's cut trailer, or just paying homage to it. All right. So do you think with Hideo Kojima, like, do you think he's actually or do you think he's gonna be making a Metal Gear Solid remake? Like, is this actually in the works now that we're going into this whole rabbit hole with conspiracy theories and stuff like that?
So here's the thing with that. Enough people want it. A lot of people want a Metal Gear Solid remake. Now, it's not a lot about what people want. You know what I mean? With developers, they're kind of like, like a Sakurai to a Smash. It's like he puts whatever Nintendo tells him to put in, and necessarily they don't put what the people want per se.
Sure.
But with this is that after what happened to the series, I feel like Kojima is like, you know what? Like, let's do this, but my way.
But do you think Kojima is going to be involved in this? Like, that's my only thing. Like, do you think it's going to be a completely different studio, or you think this is actually going to be Kojima going back to his roots?
You think it's going to be Kojima Productions that's going to be making Metal Gear?
I don't know. I don't think so, to be honest. I'm going to be... I think Bluepoint is going to be... If it's going to be in conjunction with Sony, I think Bluepoint Games Studios is going to be the one making this project.
Well, let's take it a step back. Is Metal Gear Solid without Hideo?
No.
So then that answers your question.
But this is just a remake. This is not making anything else new. They're not adding anything else to the story.
But they also have to do like the way like the acting is and all that kind of stuff, right? Like that's all Kojima, right?
But the groundwork is already there.
The groundwork's there, but you also like he envisioned it in a certain way. I think he has to be involved somewhat with the game. I mean, even if it's not produced by his game, I think he's gonna step in and be like, okay, like.
I think that applies heavily if they were making a new Metal Gear Solid game for sure. Like there's no way you can progress that story without Hideo Kojima. But if you're just remaking a game that's already been fleshed out from the mind of Hideo Kojima, I don't see it being too difficult for a company to kind of, pick up where they left off and remake that graphically, gameplay wise, like just to make it play in 2021 standards. You know what I mean?
That's a little different because that's
all I'm asking for right now.
That was a PlayStation 1 title.
Yeah.
Right? Look at Demon Souls. Demon Souls is PS3, so the work there is not as difficult as trying to take a PlayStation 1 title that is Metal Gear and do it. I mean, I guess I could take the Twin Snakes. Twin Snakes would be a better example because that one is basically another remake of it. We're gonna get a third remake, basically. I forgot Twin Snakes was a thing.
Bluepoint Studios does a phenomenal job at remaking these games. They've done so many games out there that really keep the same aesthetics to the original game. So I think they'd be pretty good with it. You know what I mean?
I'll leave you with the topic. Why did he pay homage to Metal Gear Solid 1?
And that's the thing.
Why would he do that? That it's very random. What was he just like? This is just like.
I don't know. He could be just kind of wiping his hands and be like, "Hey, like this is just paying homage to Metal Gear Solid. This is it. I'm done with it." You know what I mean?
But specifically Metal Gear Solid 1.
True. Yeah. It was very Metal Gear Solid 1. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know. So when we watched that trailer, I'm like, he's hinting at Metal Gear Solid 1 for sure. Like, there's no doubt about it. Who's to say? I have no idea. I'm hoping that's the case still. I'm really hoping that's the case. But with Hideo Kojima, you don't know.
Hideo, I'm asking you, please, nicely.
Please.
I'll go on my knees if I have to. Make the Metal Gear Solid remake happen. Just
or at least give us the green light. Like, give somebody the green light and just kind of oversee it. If you don't want to put your hands on that, I get it. There's a lot of like rough patches with it. And I understand that you've had like your share fare of like memories with it and all that stuff. But if you can just give this to a developer and be like, yeah, that looks good. Yep, that looks good. Yep, you guys are doing phenomenal. Cool. I'm all set. Just give me a remake. That's it. That's all I want.